We are getting started with this. A mother wrote to Mumsnet, and she was enraged because she saw a father stripped down in front of his daughters. And it happened in a male change room at a pool. The mom was there with her son. The mom was there with her son because the women's change room was too busy. So is it wrong, if you're a parent, or anyone, I guess, in this situation, to get naked in front of kids at the pool?
And add to that opposite sex. Does that matter?
But it's the age that matters,
I agree with that
because
to some extent.
This father was likely in that change room with his daughters because the daughters are young. And the woman who wrote in, her son was a toddler, right? So it really depends on, I think the gender of the parent, right, dictates which change room you go to. And that's how it goes. It's the same with washrooms. Dash goes to a public washroom with me because I'm not going to allow him to go in on his own. And I understand that this one was busy, right? But for a father...
So was she wrong being in there in the first place?
She should have been in the window.
I think so.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Right?
Yeah.
She's in there.
And by the
Father
way-
taking his daughter swimming, I'm all good with that.
And she wasn't in there with her son. She had asthma and she wanted to stay out of the pool area, and so she went back in there to sit. I think you see what you're going to see when you're sitting in a men's change room.
I think for me too, it's not just about the age. It's also a height consideration because I don't know that you want to be. I don't know that you want to be looking that thing in the eye, per se. But you know, there is a difference too between physicality and sexuality. And sexuality, that's a very grown-up opinion and view on it. And I think for kids, it's just nudity.
I agree. You know what? I can just very quickly add to that. Do you remember when Body Works happened? It was at the Science Center. The exhibit. We were standing in line. Our older daughter looks at a body, which was clearly male, and she says, gee, it's too bad we can't tell what sex it is. Our younger daughter turned to her older sister and said, Care, look. And then everybody burst out laughing. But to that point, and Care's watching right now, and I'm sorry, sweetie. But the point is, you make a good point. Like, that's not where she was looking. That's not really what was of interest to her. She was a teenager. We did not let her go out on a date for a while.
Well, there was also a comment that was made at the end of the rant where she said, the mother said, you know, also his bum was very unattractive. And I thought, oh boy. Well, who's being the creep now, lady?
Wow.
You know, if Jason Momoa was in there with his kids, she would have been like, this was the best day at the pool.
That is very true. See you next week. Very true.
I'm going to go to Rochelle on Facebook, and Rochelle writes, each kid should know the proper names for all of the body parts and their functions, and to talk openly about their bodies with you. But seeing nudity is as much of a choice as being nude, and children can't consent. So I think she's going both ways on this, Rochelle.
Sounds that
it sounds
way.
like she's going both ways on this. But I think it's age. I mean, the dad was not, we don't think he was in there with 14-year-old daughters. No. I think a lot of people would be like, that's probably a little too old for her. But I suspect also, as you said, that they're probably younger. Marquez is 5, and since 18 months of age, we've been telling her all the body parts, all the names, and there's no shyness and nudity. We want a very body positive household, and we're trying our best. If dad's taking a shower and she walks in, big deal. She'll name it what it is. It's a penis, if you're wondering. And she'll even talk to me about my body. And the whole point is we don't want her to feel shame. And this is the biggest thing. And that means just say what it is.
And you know what? Young children, I mean, we have 4 young children in the house, and they will run in at different times. I mean, you can't stop that. You can't, but that doesn't mean we have to publicly demonstrate it in a public place.
Correct. Sure.
We have a Facebook comment from Zachary. Zachary says, I think children seeing anatomy is important and builds healthy body image. So many people grew up with shame attached to their bodies or sexuality because of parenting like this. It's just a body. Everybody has one. Thank you, Zachary, for sharing that. And I actually really appreciate Zachary writing in. I'm going to assume, given that typically Zachary is a name that is given to males, that Zachary is perhaps a dad. And I'm really happy that we heard from a dad on this. And the reason why I relate to hearing from a dad is because it was that dad who was at the pool with his children. Now, we are talking about different and changing roles in parenting and who assumes caregiving responsibility. In the past, typically for child's activities, if you're going to take your kid to the like weekly sports meet or whatever, usually it's the
often mom.
mom.
Yeah.
And so now we're hearing that there's a dad at the pool taking his kids, happen to be girls, to the pool. We're gonna have to start getting used to these really sticky situations where if the dad and the kids are of different sex, then we're gonna have spaces where all of this is mixed in. Now, if as women we want to encourage more help, or not even help, but
Caregiving.
responsibility from the males in the family, we're gonna also have to open ourselves up to conversations about spaces and what's right and what's wrong and who's welcome. Like, that can't.
I agree with that. And I also think the response of the girls when the dad did it, when he stripped down, we didn't hear anything about that. So that may have been the norm. It may be very comfortable that, you know, this is what we do. Dad, we're going swimming. Let's get going.
Yeah, let's go.
You know?
I want to fit Melanie in here because her viewpoint is a little bit different. She said, what happened to having some sense of privacy? I would have died of embarrassment if I ever saw my father naked. Right? Some things are not for our children to see. Seeing naked bodies and learning about body parts does not mean they get to see mine. So a little bit different. And you know what? Parenting is different.
But that's personal. You get a
it's
decision.
personal.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, never ever saw my dad without his clothes on. Right? Like parenting is different.
My father was shot in the bum in the army, and he showed that to me. Oh, okay. I remember that years later. I'm not sure why I brought it up now, but obviously it stuck with me.